Man, not this again. We're constantly dealing with this issue. I thought it was already settled. Let's dive into this because I'm going to break it down and hopefully I don't have to do it again. This is the word spoken. Let's go. So man, what's up, y'all? Man, I'm Jonathan Owens here. Another episode of the Word Spoken. Let's dive right into this because, man, I don't know. I'm getting tired of all the people who speak against things and they take things out of context. So y'all probably heard Byron representative from Florida. For me, the best state. But y'all heard what he said about the Jim Crow thing, and then you got other people taking it out of context. You got CNN rolling, everybody. They just, man, that's. I'm a coin a new term, race monger, something like that. Somebody who always is looking to involve race, and it's like they want race to be an issue, or they want confrontation with race. Instead of just properly dissecting what somebody just says, they want race because they want that. Well, let me play this small clip from what he said, and so you can just see what's happening here. Check it out.
What you're now starting to see in our politics is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. That's right. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, now wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth, not just having a job.
The point of this video is to talk about why are fathers so important in the home. Now, if you know what he said, like we see that it said that obviously families were together. So obviously the point of this issue was not to say that Jim Crow was bad. I mean, Jim Crow was good. We know it was bad. The point is to show that families were together. Some people might say, man, families had no choice but to be together because they were facing terrible circumstances and terrible situations. Well, obviously that's two parts. There's 2 points to that. Because the first point is, yes, it is true because times were hard, the families stuck together. But not only that, at that time, if you go back and look at the way in the history, black people, our people, my people, they didn't think the same way. Go back and ask your grandmothers. Go back and ask them. And your grandfathers, who's 60 and 70, most likely close to 70s, 70 years old. Go back and ask them, and how was it then? Go ask them how they voted, how they thought, how they were together, how the man was in the home protecting the family. Sometimes the man will have like a gun in the house, protecting his home, probably going out there and hunting or whatever the case may be. And not only just for that, because remember, the Jim Crow thing was in the South, so it wasn't like that in the North. So you can't just say that, oh, they just stuck together because they had to stick together. No, families were together because black people thought differently. There is no monolith, but the reason why we are saying like this general and broad, because it seems like a whole bunch of black people are thinking the same today. That my people are thinking the same today. And it's like, no, be yourself. But why is it important that families were together? Most importantly, why are fathers, it's so important that fathers are in the home. Well, you know the studies. That one year that Barack Obama came out on and gave a national televised talk discussing how black fathers, or just probably fathers in general, the percentage and the statistics of how and why it's so important that they are in the home, and how all these rates drop, whether it is prison rates, death rates, all these different type of rates that are affected by just a father, a loving father in the home. Well, it's no wonder, because the Bible just it tells about this, and yet again the Bible is always true. Well, there's so many scriptures. My favorite scripture about this, Psalms 128. It talks about it. But yet there are other scriptures that talks about how God was like, I was looking for a man to stand in the gap for the people, so I would not have to curse the land. Well, that's different. Tony Evans put it like this one time. He was like, why did God say a man? He didn't say a male. He said a man. There's an importance of that, because when God said he's looking for a man, he's talking about a godly man standing in the gap. There was many men around. There was really many males around. But when God said, I'm looking for a man to stand in the gap, what you mean, Lord? You have many of men. How you can't choose one? Because God's like, there's a whole bunch of males around, but there's not a whole bunch of men around. So I'm looking for a man to stand in the gap, so I don't have to curse the land. And then it said also, he's like, so I don't have to curse the land. The fathers need to get back with their children, and the children need to get back with their fathers, and they need to become one again. And then that leads to Psalms 128. It says, when a man fears the Lord. Why is this saying this? It has nothing to do with egotistical. It has nothing to do with man dominated anything. It has to do with the structure that God put in place. When a godly man takes his role, things line up. Psalms 128. Let's dive into it. What it's saying. It starts off, a man fears the Lord. It said that his wife will become a fruitful vine within the sides of his house. So that means his leadance, his guidance and leadership will affect his wife, and his wife will be beneficial to his house. Then it goes on and says, after the man fears the Lord, it says that his children will be like olive plants around his table. So that means that he will be raising up his children to be righteous and holy. Then it goes on and says that the man that fears the Lord, after these two things line up, it says that the church, the way he goes and worship at the temple, will be blessed. Then it goes on and says that then the city will be blessed. Then it goes on and says that the whole nation will be blessed. All stemming from a righteous man in the home that leads to his wife, that leads to his children, that leads to the church, that leads to the city, that leads to the nation. All because a man decided to step up and be holy and lead his family. So why is a man in the home so important? Families together. It's because the man is supposed to be the priest, provider, protector. Shout out to Ruslan for that. But the way I like to mention it is like the husband's supposed to protect. He's supposed to provide, and then he's supposed to guide his household. Protect, provide, guide. Those are his foundational assignments. And when he leaves that, everything goes down the drain. So we looked at that clip. We saw what he said. So all he was saying was that the families were together, because when families are together, man, society is all the better for. And that's what he was trying to say. It's like, but they twist his words and try to say that black people were better off in Jim Crow. That's not what he was saying. It's so sad, and it's so angersome, because it's just ridiculous how people try to twist stuff, and it's ridiculous. But if you want to see the betterment of this nation, you got to get back to that framework A godly man leading his home, having a godly wife, raising godly children. Malachi 2. The husband and wife are supposed to be in the same spirit, the same faith, the same rhythm, the same spirit orientation. Why? Because they can raise godly offspring, godly children. That's what he's saying. So it stems from that. So why is the father so important? It's because of all these reasons. So, man, I hope this bless you. And I hope this raises men to stand up and see their responsibility as men. Step up and be powerful, mighty, strong in the Lord and the power of his might for the glory of the Lord and the betterment of his family. Man, Jonathan Owens here. Word spoken. I'll see you next time. Peace.